Hello, academic teachers. I'm going to do, hopefully in one video, but I have a feeling it's going to take two, little tutorial to either refresh your memory, how to complete these SLOs, or if you're a new teacher, to walk you through the process. Also, you will notice I've included two attachments that are going to look exactly like this. I think will speed up the process and make it easier for you. You can just steal what I've done here. I'm using Alex Short as my guinea pig, so the attachments, if you're going to use them, you need to get rid of Alex's name and put your name in there. And then whatever topic that you're teaching. For this one, I said there's going to be 11th and 12th graders in that course, probably the same for just about everybody. And then the academic year is 2015-2016. The first thing you'll notice is in this first box, I've included a table here, a snapshot of my pre-test results. Actually, a woman from the ODE came down a couple years ago and suggested that I do it this way, so that's the way I do it. She was supposedly the expert. So it's just the range, so I'm saying, hey, on the pretest, the lowest score I got was a 10, the highest score was an 88. Okay? And then this language right here, you can just keep right in here. Students were assessed using a Social Studies Department created pretest aligned with the 2010 American Government Academic Content Standards as revised in June 2013. Alex could just keep that right in there. For those of you teaching a different subject, just change that part to the chemistry standards or English 11 standards. And then just state what your pretest consisted of. So I know that in the social studies department, we created a common end of course test and a common pretest. So this should actually be the same for you, Alex. You could be done here. The pretest is comprised of 25 multiple choice questions and 3 essay questions. Then I just stated here, pretest score, should be an S in there, results range from 10 to 88. Sorry, that threw me for a loop. And then we have to put in here student strengths and student weaknesses, and I still sort of honed in on ones that are pretty common across the spectrum of all of our students, or maybe students all across America. Students are generally strong in hands-on learning. My students generally struggle with reading comprehension and writing skills. You do not have to use those two statements. Be more specific, elaborate, however you want to do it. But I think that would pass muster with the SLO committee. And one thing I should point out, guys, is the only reason I'm doing some of this stuff in this box is because when the SLO committee evaluates these, they sort of look at this information that's right below the box and says, did they do this? Did they do this? Did they do this? So stuff's in there for a reason, believe it or not. Student population. This SLO covers all students enrolled in American Government Economics courses, Section 31 and 34. I think that's 2 of Alex's classes, so she's going to use 2 separate classes on one SLO. And there are 50 juniors and 3 seniors. I have no idea. So just change that, and once again manipulate this language to fit science, English, and math. This no subgroups are excluded from this SLO. Just put that. I don't want to go into the explanation. If it's going to be different, trust me, you're going to inquire about it. And then find out how many of your students have IEPs. You don't have to go into a big deal. Just look what we put here. 15 students have IEPs. And then a little explanation here that students struggle with reading, comprehension, and writing. However, I believe much of it can be overcome using differentiated learning strategies. Okay, and that's going to get you through this evaluation from the SLO committee. Oh, here's an easy one. The course's duration is the 2015-2016 school year. That's not going to be correct for you. It's going to be the course's duration is whenever we started, August 20th, I forget what it was, and then put the end date for the first semester. if you're doing this during first semester. If you're doing one during second semester, you have to be a little bit more careful because you can't take the end of the course to be the end of the school year because you have to turn your SLOs in by sometime in April. I forget what it is, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it second semester. So that's a real easy box. And then standards and content. What content will the SLO target? And so you'll see here, I put this SLO encompasses the Ohio Department of Education 2010 American Government Academic Content Standards as revised in June 2013. These academic content standards are comprised of 24 content statements. The content statements are organized into 8 topics. You do not have to put every single thing from your content standards, which you're going to get from the ODE website, just the broad categories. Okay, so that's exactly what government people did. And then I go on to state this is a survey course of American government, and the end of course exam includes questions evenly distributed from each of the 8 topics listed above. This SLO is not targeted. What that means, let's see if I can explain this in a nutshell. If you're going to only do part of the standards for a particular course, you're not going to be able to say this SLO is not targeted because you're only targeting maybe the first 4. Hopefully you're going to include all the standards for that course. Therefore, the SLO would not be targeted. And I'm sorry, that explanation was lousy, so if you need some further clarification, just message me. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Assessments. Students will be assessed using a Social Studies Department created end of course exam aligned to the Ohio Department of Education 2010 American Government Act and blah blah blah. Okay? If you're a different subject matter, just put the Science Department. If you're a new teacher, your department's probably created some sort of common exams, pre-test and post-test. So make sure you see your department leads. Okay? Verdi, Dave, Katie, and I'm going to say Angie. This assessment is comprised of 30 multiple questions, blah, blah, blah. You're just like stating what's on that test, okay? And the test will be administered during the final exam week as identified on the PRCTC calendar. If you're going to do it on a different time, just put that. For American government, the exam will take place on 2 separate days. Doesn't have to be. But the multiple choice test will be given on one day. The essay exam will be given on day 2. You can change that to suit your needs. And important that you include this, as always, students will receive all of the appropriate testing accommodations as defined in individual IEPs. Rationale for growth targets. I think that you could, if you're going to use what I'm teaching you here, you just keep this in the box. It's ready to rock. I've created these targets in consultation with the High Schools that Work Professional Development Committee to ensure that these targets are appropriate yet rigorous. What is your consultation? Well, you're doing it now. You're watching this video. I serve on the High Schools that Work Professional Development Committee. I set growth targets to help ensure that all students will be able to demonstrate developmentally appropriate growth. Students who scored lower on pre-assessment will be expected to demonstrate more growth, and each growth target demands stretch. Let me see how much time I have here. Man, I'm going to zoom through this so I can do it all in one video. Growth targets will be determined using the Austin formula. 100, if you're using 100 points, or if you have to use 100%, think about it that way, because some people use the odd number of points. I always try to use 100 points because my brain's so limited when it comes to mathematics. So I'm talking 100% minus pre-test score divided by 4 equals the growth target. So for example, the pre-test is worth 100 points. The student got a 50 on it. So 100 minus 50 leaves 50. And we're going to divide that by 4, which is 12.5, but we have to round up to 13. So the growth target for this student would be a 63. Remember, they got a 50, and we have to make sure they go up at least 13 points to meet our growth target, so 63. I have included this little section in here this year because I just think it makes it a lot easier. Once again, change this stuff to suit your needs. And then in this section here, do not put the entire student's name. Put their first name, and if you got 2 Johns in there, make sure you note that with the first initial of the last name. Or you can give up on all this stuff altogether and just use student numbers. Student 1, 2, 3, 4, just make sure you know who those students are. And then right over here, you're just going to put what they got on their pre-assessment. And then this guy got a 42. So just real quick, I'll show you how easy this is. I'm going to go 100 minus 42 equals 58. Now I'm going to divide by 4. That gives me 14.5, but I have to round up to 15. So let's go back here. Started off with a 42. 42 plus 15 is 57. You need to go through and calculate that for each of your students. It's really the most monotonous part of the whole thing. Guys, I hope this helps. Like I said, I'm going to send you 2 attachments for your 2 SLOs. To me, why reinvent the wheel? Just manipulate this stuff to change it to your lowest score and highest score. And make sure you're careful about going and getting rid of stuff, because this one will be good for Alex, but not for you. Guys, I hope that's it. Try to zoom through it as fast as I can. I'm shutting up right now. I'm out of here.